Okay, we're on Maasrot, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Tet, 9th Mishnah in the 3rd chapter of Maasrot. So, our Mishnah is going to continue the discussion of what is kovea produce for Maaser, and we said that if you brought something in your chatzer, if you brought a produce into your chatzer, into your courtyard, it's kovea for Maaser. If you didn't bring it into the courtyard, it's not kovea for Maaser, and you can eat it achilat arai, you can eat it temporarily, without having to take off trumot and Maasrot. What happens though, in the last Mishnah, if you had we talked about a fig tree, a te'ina, that's in the chatzer. So the Mishnah discussed that issue. Our Mishnah is going to be continuing and talking about other produce other than a fig tree that's growing in the chatzer itself, in the courtyard itself. And are you allowed to eat it arai, achilat arai, temporarily eating without having to take off trumot u'ma'asrot? Says the Mishnah, Gefen shehinitu abachatzer. If I have a grapevine planted in the chatzer, notelet kol eshkol. According to the Tanakama, Rabbi Tarfon says you could take a whole cluster. V'chein b'rimon. Similarly, you could take a whole pomegranate. V'chein ba'avatiach. Or you can pick an entire melon, an entire watermelon, but they meant melon, and you didn't have to take off pieces and eat it piece by piece, or grape by grape, or rimon seed by rimon seed. Divrei Rabbi Tarfon. That's the opinion of Rabbi Tarfon. Rabbi Akiva says no. We've seen this before, that the idea of in these produce that you want to take it temporarily, you can only take it piece by piece. So according to the Tanakama, Rabbi Tarfon, you can take the entire fruit and you don't have to, because it grew in the chatzer, and that's not kovea for maaser. Rabbi Akiva says no. Megarger be'eshkolot. Garger means garger. You take one grape by one grape when it comes to the clusters of grapes. Upared barimon, and similarly you have to take each individual seed of pomegranate. V'sofet ba'avatiach. And sofet ba'avatiach means you have to cut off a piece of the avatiach. And we've seen this previously in earlier Mishnayot in order to have achilat arai. So Rabbi Tarfon says you could take the normal amount, and Rabbi Akiva says you have to take one by one. Kuzbar. Kuzbar is coriander. Sheuzru abachatzer. Okay? And coriander is usually not eaten as food, but sometimes it was eaten as food. In each of those cases, the Mishnah says, Mekartem aleh aleh ve'ocha. You can eat, if they grow in your courtyard, you have to eat leaf by leaf. But if you pick more than one chayab, since you treat it as food, and you pick more than one coriander leaf at a time, therefore it becomes kviyut, and therefore you have to take off trumot and maasrot before you can eat it. Hase'ah v'ha'izova koranit shebachatzer. So these are three roots that they have. Sa'ah was pundag or polio. I don't know what that means. Aizov, zatar. Koranit, chasha, shadriya. I guess we can look up what they are in Hebrew. Maybe I will. Hold on a second. Okay, my internet's a little fuzzy, and Rav Safrai doesn't really give me explanations, but these were actually kinds of spices. So we can see zatar or chasa. Okay, the point is these are spices that they were usually used for scent. They would burn them as incense. Sometimes they were used as food. So the Mishnah says, Imayu nishmarim, if they would save them, i.e. they would save them as food, okay, chayavin, then you are chayav trumot masrot, you have to take off to ein chayav b'maaser le'ochel v'nishmar. We learned, remember, that it has to be food, it has to be nishmar. It has to be something that people would save. So if in there, wherever, if it was saved, okay, imayu nishmarim, if they were saving it, meaning if you picked it and saved it as food, then there's kovea for maaser. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, or if you know what those three things are and you want to tell me, artsbolter@gmail.com, and we'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.